So we do something a little different today. I have a special guest, Sean from Mid Ocean School of Media Arts. Hey, Sean, how are you today?
I'm doing really good, my man. How are you? Pleasure to be here.
I'm pretty good, and we are doing a movie that we worked on during our time in the school. So, Sean, how did you feel about this movie when you first got it?
Uh, I'll be honest. I think initial presentation on it, I wasn't sure if I was feeling too excited. It didn't look exactly like my type of vibe. It looked very artsy, very all over the place, which I'm there for. But it just didn't feel like originally at first there was like a lot of substance to it, and I was a little, I guess, disappointed at first when I first saw the project. But then as kind of time went on, grew to kind of enjoy it a little bit. What about you? What were your first initial reactions with it?
Well, I didn't really understand what the plot was. Like, I didn't know what was going on, but this little cool sound effect element. Like, I was like, oh, this is our movie? Okay. So, it's a little challenging to do because I never done an anime movie before. It was kind of different. I never seen anything like this before. It was really interesting because I thought in the beginning those were electric eels, but those were wires apparently. So I thought when I was first watching, I'm like, those eels? No, but they're electric wires. So I was like kind of like in depth with like, maybe like this would be a really challenging project, and it was, especially that one scene that I will show very soon.
I think I know exactly which scene you're talking about too. But yeah, there was a lot of challenging parts, and like I feel like even going through it multiple times, there was always something new I noticed for like coverage from a sound effect perspective. You know what I mean? Like there was a lot of like hidden details.
Yeah, like when that one scene, where there's like those little like sink falling and there's like a worm. I didn't know that was there until like maybe like 8 week, maybe like the 3 to 4 weeks into electives. I just noticed that because I think Alexander he pointed it out. I was like, oh, I didn't know I was there.
No, I feel you. I didn't know that was there. There was like the big camera things I didn't even notice. The little robot guy on that bridge near the end too. There was just so many like I think again like hidden details. And I think that's because there's so much going on all the time. Your brain's having trouble like focusing.
Start. How was your process on going into the scene here?
Process for sound effects
Yeah, process for
solely.
sound effects and like how did you manage to time it up correctly and like what kind of sound effects did you use for the scene?
For me, I used I think it was like a pinball machine for a portion of it, and then it was just a lot of like splicing, a lot of layering on multiple tracks just to get the right kind of like cadence of steps and the right rhythm for everything popping up. It did take me a good amount of time, and then after that, it was all about finding like the right levels and right reverb for everything to make the space feel like a legitimate space and not just kind of like a thing you're watching. But it was a gong show basically in like layman's terms. It was very hard. Took a lot of time to find the right sound. And even looking back now, I feel like I could have found something a little bit better than a pinball machine. But it was fun. It was cool. And I'm excited to see kind of what you did with it.
Yeah, this scene took me like a long time to do. I think it took me like 2 days pretty much to do.
I feel like that's valid though.
Anyways,
Tough
this
time.
is the final product of that hard, I call it the hydraulic scene.
Well, don't you ever get tired of this?
Tired?
Yeah.
Emo, the machine is like clockwork. One move out of place, and you're ground to a pulp.
But isn't it?
Pulp, Emo! Is that what you want? Pulp? Emo, you're calling life pulp!
The end of the scene, I pitched some of them down.
Yeah, and I can tell it like makes it like a little bit more palatable, you know.
Yeah, I think that was like the hardest scene in the movie. I think there's another hard scene. I think it was. Well, actually, I think there was a other hard scene. I think that was the hardest scene in the movie. I think the rest of them were just
100%.
kind of like the rest of them was just like easy, not easy, but like manageable to time up.
Yeah,
was the
I feel like near the end of it got pretty hard too with the whole elevator scene.
oh yeah.
That one gave me
That's
a bit of trouble as well.
that's what scene I think I'm about to show right now is the elevator scene we got up right here. So for ado, let's play the elevator scene, the hardest, also the hard scene that was in this movie project. Elevator scene. So that's what I did. So Sean, how did you approach that scene?
My big approach to it was I didn't do enough air movements. I think initially at first, like I had like a tunnel, kind of like did the low pass when they were in the elevator to kind of give it the dynamics of like hearing the outside versus inside of it. Um, Used a lot of mechanical noises. I didn't do much Foley in the whole project, so a lot of it was like sound design. So for the bird pulling it, I think I chose like a pipe scraping and just kind of like modified it enough to make it sound like he's pulling it. Um, and then just like a whole lot of reverb on crashes. I think that was like my big thing. But it was a nightmare to work with. I think that was the one that took me like 3 or 4 passes to get perfect. You know what I mean?
I know, cause you had to like had so many shakes, so many swishes. Like there's so many elements you had to have in that elevator scene. Like you had to like you had to have layers on layers pretty much in that scene.
Yeah, layers on, like an onion. You know?
Yeah, it was the hardest. It's probably like one of the second hardest scenes. I think my favorite scene is gotta be like. It might sound weird because I like the scene where he gets slapped.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah. No, I feel you. I feel you. That was a good part, and then I feel like the end too, like where
Yeah,
like everything's just kind of climaxing. I feel like that's a really good spot.
I think we're gonna go to
Very
that scene
clean.
next because I
Let's do
think
it. Let's do it.
that's a good scene.
Any further questions, Emo?
No.
Emo,
Yeah?
Emo, why? Emo, why? Why can't you see the beauty of this place? The way it works. How perfect it is.
No, Brooke. I don't see. I don't see because there is nothing there. Why should I trust my life to something that isn't there? Well, can you tell me that?
Emo.
Answer me. Prug, you're a sick man. Stay away from me.
Emo. No, Emo, it's a trap.
It's a trap.
Like I had an earthquake layer. I had like a coffee grinder, and I think I had a pinball machine. Oh, that's all layered for the for the.
You did a pinball machine for that too, eh?
I think so, yeah. And I did like a coffee grinder, and I did the earthquake shake.
That's nice. That's
Yeah.
nice. Yeah, I used a lot of coffee grinding for like I think platforms in one of the earlier scenes. For that one, like I didn't do Foley myself, but I was helping out one of the other people. I took like a brick and a stone slab, and it sounded really realistic. Just grinding those together to make movement too. If anyone's looking to do Foley in the future, take that tip.
Yeah, it was really interesting to like layer all these sounds and put them into all together. And then for the tentacle scene here, I used sound particles to make a bunch of tentacles. So gonna play.
At the left, you can see Hanging Gardens of Babylon. How's that for a trap?
No, Emo.
At the right side, you can see the. Well, guess what? The Colossus of Rhodos.
No.
And then I think I used like snake movements or like octopus like tentacle noises to kind of get like slithering across.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did too, when tentacles like kind of start to cripple, I think it was like crushing leaves. and I pitched it and slowed it down so it looks like the tentacles are like drying up, withering, and dying. And it was this I think was the most fun I've done or had for the entire project because I just love like Lovecraftian horror, and it was very like Lovecraftian and Cthulhu esque. So hats off to like the animation on this because it was probably a nightmare to do. But I think
Yeah.
that was probably my favorite part of the project.
Animations, like, especially the pistol scene where they're going through the hydraulics, you have to animate every single step and then, like, animating every single tentacle. That might take, like, a solid amount of time to do.
Oh my god, it took so long. I can still see all the objects in that sound particles program, bro. Like I close my eyes and I see nothing but dots.
Sound particles was actually really clutch because like it can turn any sound into like multiple. Like it really saved us. Like
Mhm.
if I didn't know if like our teacher Ryan didn't tell me about that, or like I think Felix was the first one to tell me about that. If he didn't tell me, I would have not known
I feel
to
you.
use
Yeah, I
that.
just walked in while Felix was learning it and I'm like, "Can I just like backseat this?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Cool." I just kind of shoveled my way in there.
Yeah, so it really saved our time and like our fastness of this movie because it
Mhm.
wouldn't take us more longer to make variations of tentacles to make it sound like there's lots of tentacles. So if you ever do a movie, use sound particles.
Or even just small animations for games. I feel like it could be pretty useful for a lot of
Yeah,
things.
I kind of want sound particles now, but I think it's like $400.
It's pretty expensive, but I do believe that they have a free version as long as you don't make money off it.
Yeah, free version. So get that free version while you can. Anyways, I think that was a pretty good scene there. I think my other favorite scene was like I think right here, cause like I use like lots of monster noises. So this is how I approach this scene.
It is there. I'm telling you, Emo. It is. It is.
Did you like layer a bunch of like tiger sounds too, or did you like
So I did
more?
like tigers. I did I think it was someone like snoring and then I reversed a couple things. There was like a lot of work I did on the noise. And then I think for part of it when the wall was crumbling before the monster comes out, I think it was like just heavy rain that I really pitched down and it sounded like basically tiles crumbling. So you can do it's like when you see something, it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be exactly like what it is. And I think that's the big thing I took away from it. So like say like rain, if you work on it enough, you can change it into debris or like a monster growl. You could take something like metal, pair it with like human noises, and then like pitch it, reverse it with an animal, and then it sounds like something totally out of this world, but like also has a human tone to it, which I found pretty interesting. I've started to realize a lot of places are doing that too in like horror movies, like the big IPs.
Yeah, lots of horror movies have lots of layers of monster sounds. I think that was my favorite scene. One of my second favorite scenes to do because it was fun just to layer monster noises and like a bunch of tentacle sounds in the background. Like that was probably one of the most funner scenes in the movie. Probably like not as challenging, but it was like more like of a fun like artistic choice. Because that was more like where you
Mm-hmm.
could be like more creative. You like
Oh, 100%.
you have lots of creative detail on that.
So what do you think like the meaning of this movie was, just out of curiosity?
Well, I don't really know what the meaning was because like emo wants to go to these places, but Prug doesn't let him go to these places.
And
Yeah, so
so part of me thinks it's in Prug's head.
maybe emo Prug is just imagining all this. Hence Elephant's dream. Maybe he's just dreaming all of it,
He's the elephant.
or like a floop because it has the same tiles as in the beginning of the movie. See the
That's
same.
true. That is
See
true.
this
But if
tiles
it's a loop,
here.
then like Like, what's causing the loop exactly?
But see, I don't understand where this water comes from in the
Yeah,
beginning of the movie. And then
that's also
and
true.
then at the end there's no water, but they're in the same place. They got the same tiles.
What if it's the tears of Peruk because he's like sad that Emo's gone?
Maybe. And then like but then emo pops up again after, so maybe it's like he's dead, but then it re-loops itself and then it just keeps happening again and again because emo won't understand.
Yeah, it's a big possibility. I could see that. I could see that too. Maybe there's like, yeah, the lesson that needs to be learned for them to get through, almost like a purgatory type of thing.
Yeah. So at first I did not understand, but I think I'm starting to understand a little bit now. Kind of like making my own theory about what this movie is,
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't really understand like this whole plot of the movie. I thought it was just like really confusing at first.
Yeah, between you and me, I'm still confused. Not 100% sure.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. Maybe it's just like a metaphor for something. Who really knows?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like that scene. How did you tackle the dying scene with emo falling?
I mainly like I said before, just like crinkling up leaves, doing something like a little bit more natural to make it sound like decaying like matter almost.
Mm.
And then there wasn't much foley again because like all I really did for foley was like cloth and footsteps just because of my time constraints. So I feel like the main thing I ended up doing, I think I just found a really hard like impact hit just from our sound effects bank and just tried to work as much magic as I could. It was a little detrimental to the mark, but we did okay. We did okay. But a lot of it was just like biological noises trying to make it sound like as natural as possible since it's like Lovecraftian tentacles. And that was, I
Yeah.
think, the biggest challenge for me. What about you?
The biggest challenge for me was trying to get like the right sounds. I had to really crank up my foley because I recorded it pretty low. So I had to like crank up the foley of emo falling. So I didn't really do much for emo falling. I just really cranked up his foley so you can make it sound like he's falling. And then for the I just like I got like a tiger like dying sound from the sound effects, and it's just like him like squealing, and then I just put like the tentacles in there. I think I reversed the tentacles maybe to make them sound like they were dying. I don't remember that part, but like that's what I did for the tentacles dying and the
I
monster
like that.
dying.
That's smart. That's smart. Because, yeah, then it's kind of like, it's kind of similar to, again, like his growl and everything, but then it's also different and unique because it sounds like he's getting croaked. So it's like more true to I guess, the theme. So I kind of like what you did there with that. That's an interesting idea. It's trippy. Between you and me, I didn't do too much of it. Like, I did a little bit, but most of it was just like object related stuff, just to kind of keep like the phone where it was, stuff like that.
Okay. Oh, let's put in the phone scene. Let's go to that scene because I think I did really well on that scene.
You're not paying attention.
I just want to answer the phone.
Emo, look. I mean, listen. You have to learn to listen. This is not some game. I mean, we could easily die out here. Listen. Listen to the sounds of the machine. Listen to your breathing.
Yeah.
Minute the clock. The phone was pretty easy, but I had a different phone. I had to change my phone about like twice because the Carlos didn't like this phone I had first time. so I had to
What'd you
change
have
the
the first
phone.
time?
I had like a more of a like nah, I think more like a call instead of a ring.
Okay.
Yeah, I had a call instead of a ring, and then I changed it more to like kind of sound like the guy track because that one kind of sounds like the guy track almost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more old school, so
Yeah.
like I can kind of see that.
So how was your process on the phone scene?
The hard part I think for me was like finding the dial. Like the ringer wasn't too bad, but the dial tone after he hangs up was really really hard. Just looping it because like it's just sounds like a plain tone, but there is like a fluidness of it, so it's not just a straight tone. There is movement. So finding the part where that moves and then like making it a clean loop, I think by far took me the longest. But other than that, my big thing was just trying to get bulging, kind of like squishy, again, like biological sounds just for the phone when it gets all kind of Lovecraftian. And then when he said listens to the sounds of the machine, I had a weird, distorted, kind of spliced up version of Zach doing a
Oh
call
yeah.
out of him also saying that. So it sounds kind of like the whatever the demons or whatever is going on is like repeating everything and tormenting a little bit. So like was my like I think favorite part of that scene in particular. And then for me again, like just syncing up the clock. I think that was something like everyone ended up doing, but I feel like that was also like a big challenge because you had to like deal with it off screen but still make it present in the scene. I feel like that was really tricky to do,
Yeah.
especially because it comes back and you have to keep it synced up.
It's pretty hard because you have to like sync it up in the beginning, but then it goes off screen, and then it comes back again. So it's like really hard to like you have to like sync it, not sync it, and then sync it back up.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky. But I feel like once you do get it, like it does feel really satisfying to watch it back and see it all synced up and see that come.
Yeah, actually, it was good. I think I'm gonna play a little outro video. I'm gonna play like the beginning of the movie for the just to end things off here.
I like that.
At the left, we can see. At the right, we can see the head snarlers. Everything is safe, perfectly safe. Emo, Emo, watch out!
Are you hurt? I don't think so. You?
I'm okay. Get up, Emo. It's not safe here. Let's go.
What's next?
You'll see.
It's been Time Spice with the movie podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed the Elephant Stream kind of breakdown of me and Sean. It was a really fun to work on this movie.
Yeah, very humbling experience, I think, too, for a lot of us. But it was definitely, like, I think good for growth for everybody.